it is just the first area, first period of humankind, which is primitive. So you will get a lot of primitive things, like you have mammoth, you have menhir. I don't know if you can say that in English, but like rocks, big rocks in the mountain. You can have a bunch of elements like that. So yeah, I mean, at the beginning, it's just this series is going to always have mountain, sunset, and sea. I think this is going to be a constant in all the generators I plan. But then I will explore different periods, and I will have many different elements. And the mountain may change also, because here it's just a primitive mountain. There is no intervention of human at like curving the mountain, like changing the mountain, but then it could be flattened at some point. So yeah, we have a bunch of elements here. We can see there's actually a lot of people here in the mountain. Sometimes they are a bit flying over the mountain. This happens because in a rare case, the mountain can have these shadows like we have here. Like there's a lot of, like the lines are stopping even though they do not connect with others. It's not strict collision with other lines. It's to create a bit more chaos in a way, and that creates some shadow areas. So many different techniques are put in for making the mountains, which stuff I have learned over the months, trying different things. And yeah, then we have a bunch of elements. We have a bridge that can happen. I explain how you can have a bridge, how it's actually calculated, how is it determined. But basically, I explained a bit before in some kind of schema here. Just basically, we will try to find a connection between two tops, which have the highest area underneath. So it's still a lot of randomness, and yeah, I think we have also a minimum and a maximum length to try to change, and I think randomly you can have a very long bridge, but it's very rare, I think. So yeah, it's like a lot of different things that are thrown in the chaos of generative art, and then randomly you will get one result. So yeah, you can have boats. There's a lot of boats sometimes, but also they can be known. It's quite rare to have, I think it's almost impossible to have all of the elements at the same time, but still could happen. Everything is possible. But yeah, it's sometimes you have nothing, sometimes you have boats, sometimes you can have people, sometimes you have mammoth. Which I also explained. They are made with a very simple shape at the beginning, and then this is getting like curved in the program, and also we are repeating it multiple times. We are changing it a bit, so every mammoth differ a tiny bit here. I think it's a bit more. Well, it's tiny different here, like the curve here. It's not exactly the same. But at the beginning it's the same shape, and yeah, then we have this I don't know what you call that, like defense that can also differ from each other. Yeah, I think we can see other examples. So it could be, yeah, this one is quite interesting, and I think you have 10% of chance to get it. It's blue paper with it's only always going to be black and white. I think there is a very tiny chance to get only black or to get only white, but it's probably never gonna happen. We'll see. But yeah, most of the time it's gonna be like that. And I have some prototypes. I made some prototype on specifically this one to make sure it works. And you can see the white is going over the black. So yes, so that's, in a way it's nice because the light, when it's lighter, something is really, really powerful, bright, then you you see it more than the rest, so that's okay in that way. But that means if something is on, if you have something in front of the sun, then you will only see the white. And for the black, it's a bit different actually. It can work like that because the white is done. That's a good question. I think I will have to plot the yellow first. Yeah, that's it. So the sun is going to be plotted first. In that case, so we can have some. It's very rare to have, but you can have some TP like that as well. And yeah, birds. We have clouds also. But yeah, the base is really just the sun, the mountain, and the reflection. And then we can build different things, different periods of humankind. That's the goal. So this is just the primitive period. And actually, my next period will be medieval, I think. It's gonna be... That's why I have medieval music. But yeah, it's going to be challenging, I think. So it's going to take a month. Probably. We'll see. But I will probably develop some individual stuff, try out different things. I will probably go back to some other generators before continuing that series, but the goal is really to have different period, different era, and it's nice because it's climbing in difficulty. Like here, the primitive is relatively simple, and then more we will have human areas, more we will have to create more details, and it's gonna be more complex to develop as well, so that's interesting in that way. Yeah, I quite like the indigo color as well. But most of the time you will get black and red on the white paper. That's the most common thing to have because it works pretty well, but still you can have pink, yellow. Yeah, it's still possible to have many different things, combination of colors. Yeah, like this one, for instance, it's quite rare, but so yes, the goal was really to create also some contrast for the mammoth. I didn't want to fill it inside. That's the only case where we have something that is not filled, because most of the time otherwise just a super tiny detail. We will have just some strokes that make the people, the boats. Yeah, I'm already zooming quite a lot, but on the paper you will not see that much detail. I think with the fountain pen it's gonna blend a bit more, but still you can see how the boats are getting made here. We have just stacking of lines, and they are randomly changed a bit. But yeah, it's basically it. And yes, it's like a wireframe people. Just a bunch of lines. Oh yeah, we can have fire as well. I forgot to say that. So you can have a stack of like logs, like wood, and then you have a fire and smokes. That's like the primitive version, and yeah, I think so after medieval you can imagine industrial period, and for industrial period I think we are going to have a lot of smoke, a lot of machines. Yeah, we'll see. That's gonna be fun as well, and even more harder. Medieval period, we will have castle, we will have siege machines, we will have I don't know, maybe boats. I'm not sure. Yeah, we will have. We'll see. We have to build all of that. Maybe it's gonna be a bit of war, like between two castles, and you have like siege machines that are throwing some stuff in the air. I don't know. We'll see what we can do with this idea. But even a castle in the mountain or a tower will be very, very interesting, especially if we manage to make a lot of detail on that castle, so it's already quite challenging. But industrial period is even more challenging because we will have to make machines. It's not gonna need to be accurate enough and like realistic. So that's gonna be another level. And then modern period, maybe a bit easier if I'm just making a lot of skyscrapers and town. Still can be challenging. And yeah, I don't know what other elements we will have. But that's gonna be over time that I think about something, and I can also take suggestions if I do it in streams. So we'll see. That's gonna be fun. And then the post-human area will be fun as well. I will have to think about a lot of sci-fi stuff. So it's like, yeah, that's it. An open book of everything I want to do. But yeah, I think meanwhile we will do something else just to change a bit, to reset a bit, to reboot my brain and have another perspective, and then I come back and then I will have even more ideas, so we'll see. But yeah, this one is finalized enough. Oh, that's quite rare to have like such a huge mountain. I think it's almost never. It's first time I see something so big. Oh, we don't see the properties. Yeah, we are just basically trying, like visualizing all the possibilities of the generator. Like when I developed it, and so yeah, it's like took me quite a while to finalize it. And yeah, I have generated 10,000 versions. Took me a few hours, I think, to run. And then I did some statistics of what are the probabilities, and I could like figure out if it's good enough. And yeah, I think I have published it. Yeah, I have published it on within the source code. So in the GitHub here we have the source code, and yeah, these are the odds, the likelihood. So yeah, I think you can basically see that the mountain are, well, most of the time it's what I call regular, and I think very low is like almost flat. So we didn't see it that much, but sometimes the mountain can be just almost inexistent. 5% of the time. Oh wow, that was a nice bridge. Like here I think it's low, it's not very low. But yeah. That's a nice one. So yeah, if you have any question, feel free to ask as well. But yeah, basically that's it. The sunset also define if the sun is touching. If it's inside here, for instance, it's not started. So the sunset has not started, it's still in the sky, the sun. So this is just most of the not most of the time. Most of the time it's actually in between, meaning it's in the middle, like it's starting to traverse the mountain. Oh, in the middle, okay. And here beginning is almost touching a tiny bit, ending it's almost no longer visible, and finished it's like you don't see the sun at all. So that will be quite rare to have as well. Like here, I think it's very low, the mountain, which is still quite interesting in its way. And then we have all the elements, the birds, the boats, people, mammoth, menhir, teepee, fire, bridge. So bridge, oh, I thought it was 40%. No, it's actually not. So it's only 20% of the time you have a bridge. which is okay. It's nice that it's relatively like it's the most common thing to have when you look at other randomness. Like Mammoth, it's only. Oh yeah, still you have a chance to have Mammoth. Yeah, fire is yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah, fire was the thing I wanted the least to happen because the smoke can be too noisy also. So TP I could have made it more often, I think, but it's okay. Because TP only exists if there's people around and there's not often people. Versus Menhir, like here, it can exist without people. It's like a trace of the existence. Yeah, it's quite interesting because there is no one at all, and still it's quite peaceful and it works pretty well. Boats, birds. So birds is the most common thing to have. Boats actually is even more common. And there's so many things I had to adjust over time, and I could always adjust things, but then at the end it's going to be full random when people start meeting. It's just going to yield results we never see before, so it's going to always be a new piece, and that's quite the beauty of generative art. We cannot, as an artist, I cannot ensure what's gonna happen. I cannot determine in advance. In a way, I didn't cheat in predefining everything, and it's part of the beauty in itself. It's part of the challenge. It's part of the difficulty of making such generators. And like you cannot really afford something bad to happen. So you have to, like, nothing should crash. Results should be good enough. So yeah, that's quite challenging. I really like this when this happens, like bridge with the sun and even birds here. That's quite interesting. Oh, we even have a mammoth. Like, this could have been the cover. But it's okay. The cover was, I think I rolled 10 results and saw that one and say, okay, good enough. And the goal is to make the cover something relatively common to have. I don't want to pick the most rare results. So yeah, you have to pick something that is good enough but also common. And here you see it's quite common, right? I keep having this similarity. So yeah. I think it's actually rare to not have anything. You have to multiply all the percentage, I guess. Like that, times that, times that. If you like the probability to have nothing. It's not really independent probability, so it's not exactly the multiplication. But yeah, you get the idea. So yeah, and for the ink paper, we have some probabilities here, we have some likelihood. Most of the time you have white. Okay, that's interesting. Why would be differ, but I guess I have a bunch of if logics, I have a bunch of logic that determines the color. But normally it's basically 10% and the rest is half on white, half on black. 10% on blue. Because I still want the blue, like this kind of thing, right? I still want that to be happening, but not too much because it's always white and black, which is a bit boring for the generativity, even though it's very, very good. I think it works very well, like when you have a color of the paper which is in the middle. I did, at some point, I did experimented on gray paper, and I really like that result as well. Where is it? I should have changed the stream to English, by the way. Shtuk. Okay, I don't find it. Oh yeah, it's when I experimented this. Oh, I did too much. I cannot find my own stuff. When was that? Oh, that was last year? No. Maybe gray? I need to tag my work better to archive it a bit better, like with tags and stuff, so I can search easily. But it's much better to have a website than just on Twitter, because then you will even have hard time. Okay, that's nope. I clicked something. Ah, shit. Yeah, that one. So it's a gray paper and black and white. I think the white had issues at some point, I remember. I have to be careful about that, by the way. Yeah, I should have enough ink. That should be okay. We just have to be careful. There's no issues. It's the hardest ink. This gel pen is very capricious, and yeah, I put a battery on the pen to have some more weight. So yeah, that works very well, I think, to have a gray paper and then you diverge on black, on darkness and lightness. So the base is something in the middle, and then you just have to figure out what to do. And yeah, for my case, I basically chose to, well, yeah, the mountains are going to be dark, so we are going to use black, and the sun. Hold on. Why don't I find any blue, please? Right, sometimes we have the same color as well. I think it's 8% of the time. 8% of the time you just have the same color for the sun and the mountains. Like here. Like here. I have no luck. I cannot have any blue. Okay. So yeah, the dark is going to be on the mountain, all the people, all the elements. And then we have the reflection that just repeats the same shape we have on the coast. So the sun is going to be white, so we will have white reflection. So all the sky elements, like, well, not the birds, but all the sun and clouds are going to be white, because clouds are illuminated with the sun. So that made sense that it will be the same color, as well as the fire smoke. So yeah, that basically all these decisions I had to make over time. But yeah, the base is like the mountain are like the most important part of the plot. And yeah, it's basically based on many different exploration I did in the past, like we can see here, the fact we have some some kind of empty area which gives some shadows is basically the same that I use when sometimes you, oh, that one, yeah, like when you see some disconnection of lines, that's basically the same principle at stake. But it's quite rare to actually have, because it can also glitch quite a lot. So yeah, I reused a bunch of elements, not necessarily pushing them to the highest settings. So this was like the plain mountain, and there were no water, so I had to cut to make the sky. I had to have a space on the bottom, so it's not exactly the same like camera angle in a way. It's much more flat in here, but we have different layers. We have we have the bottom layer, so it depends on it's randomly chosen. Sometimes there could be just one layer, but then here we can see there's like one first mountain, then a second, then it could be up to 8, I think. So here we have 1, 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, 5 or something like that. Yeah, I think they are like stacked on top of each other. And yeah, we can see the mechanism at stake here that just make empty area here, but we didn't push it too much to not glitch too much the thing, because the trade-off of that is we have people flying. But yeah, I think they are jumping, and like we can have a theory. They are jumping. Someone like there is like some weapon here. I don't know. Like we can have a theory, but from afar away, it's okay. Yeah, this one is pretty crazy. It's quite important to always give a very small percentage of unexpected stuff to happen. So yeah, I like that fact. Like sometimes mountains have a lot of distance between lines. So the mountains are made with stacking lines, and the first mountain is going to be very like lines are very close to each other, but then every layer is going to distance a bit more the lines, and sometimes it can be quite distant, so that's quite interesting. Here we have a real mountain here. That's interesting. We have a hole. Wow, what happens here? I have no idea what's happening here. That's the first time I see that. That's weird. Oh, that's clouds. Oh, okay. That's one line of cloud. So we saw with I were only white, so I think it's 2% of chance to have that on top of the color choice. And sometimes sometimes like here it's very interesting because the mountains are very high, and then we have a lot of cloud and some space around it. Like this is super smooth. That works pretty well. I can maybe curate that one to plot. We'll see. As another prototype, because gold, I think I have plotted it only once, and the gold is not so like it's not. I try to make it very close, but it's not exactly the same color. It's a bit more. Well, it's reflecting, so in a way, it's not easy to take a picture that makes sense. That's exactly show what it looks like, but yeah, it's quite like that. So here it will be interesting to see. I think it's also a bit wider. The pen is a bit wider than the others. I use a broad uniball, and the others are made with this Signos pastel uniball. So yeah, I think that's it. What else? So yeah, that's gonna be fun to see the results. And yeah, I can't wait to plot them. Then after it's released, people will be able to get a physical version, and that will be nice. I will always have to change my setup of the plotter, because if it's fountain pen, it's 45 degrees versus here it's straight, so I have to always change that. But it's okay. It takes you saw it live. It takes 2 minutes. But yeah, I will be busy if I have a lot of requests. We'll see. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. This one. it's quite random in a way. Like the purple we just saw is super rare also to have because I don't want to favorize it too much. It's not the main color of you expect from a mountain, but still it's nice to give it possibility. That's nice. So yeah, I think for the next generators I want to actually redo from scratch the mountains because maybe that way it will be diverging, it will be quite different, we'll see. If we make castles like in the medieval period, we will have to flatten the terrain a bit, like have a cap in a way, because like humans are going to, I don't know, like to improve the terrain versus here it was fully random. So that makes sense. So yeah, that's it for this generator. I think it's very nice for me to finally have finished it. I'm relieved now, and yeah, we will see on Friday night if it gets popular. We'll see. So I have open for 400 supply because that's quite, like, that's, you really have a lot of variations, so it's quite generative, so that opens more possibilities. I initially planned less, but then I thought I would be disappointed if I wouldn't see all the possibilities revealed, so yeah, I opened it even more. But yeah, I think 400 is it's quite enough for that. Yeah, 400 possibilities, and then what's nice is you have you get an animation also, so like it's always in the same idea that I should put. Oh, I was for a time I was wondering what's going on in the plotter, but yeah, not everything is circles. Sometimes it could be like, and it's nice. You get a weird exploration of the pen here. But at the end, it's just going to be a bunch of plus shape, I think. I don't remember what. Anyway, it's gonna be fun. So yeah, that's gonna be Plottable. So yeah, a generator will be the beginning of maybe series of future generators on that area period, and probably I will have another generator in between. Like before doing the medieval thing, because that's gonna take a lot of time. So it's possible I have another generator. I also like to give a try to something else meanwhile. I like to zigzag between different explorations as well, because that gives even more idea, that makes it even more powerful. Have more perspectives and stuff, so yeah. It's quite hard to. It's quite in like developing generative art is quite complex in a way that, well, you need to guarantee everything is good, but you cannot control in advance. So yeah, you have to. A lot of effort is put in the generator, and then when you keep tweaking parameters and the range of possibilities, then you actually diverge from the beginning, from the first thing you did, and you can be a bit like disappointing by no longer seeing a result you had before, but sometimes it was so extreme that result was good, but then because reaching to that result is an extreme, and then you can have like 10 other results that are actually bad, so you had to sometimes to cut a bit some possibilities, even though it would have been great, but then if you open to too much randomness, then you start to get more crap stuff, so you have a lot of complexity in choosing that and composing with how much you really have to choose a lot of things, like how much probability to have in one, and yeah, Anyway, that's a lot of fun. And yeah, I hope it's only the beginning for me to explore this, like more composition work, more like scenes with like a bit more realistic stuff than just exploration I had in the past, which were like abstract shapes, one idea pushed. Yeah, it's nice to be able to also try out different things that you can see in the nature. And you know, I'm a gardener, so yeah, I love nature. I do gardening. I have a lot of tomatoes plants these days, and it's quite challenging also gardening to master. And yeah, it will be so cool to try to simulate, like to generate a plant, like a tomato plant. I didn't see anyone doing that. Like I really mean like how the tomato plants look like. It's quite complex, and you can have different species. You can have different tomatoes shapes. Yeah, I mean it's so inspiring. So sometimes this can happen, to have in black only colors, like 2 colors, not white. But I try to avoid this as much. Like I try to push. Like there's a lot of randomness at stake, but it's quite rare to have that. It's okay. I mean, I think it's pretty cool looking actually. But I really try to favorize the white and an inner color, and most of the time white and yellow, because that's like the main, goal, the main color tone. But then it can always diverge, which is great because people may actually prefer that one. Oh, we just saw something super rare, but I didn't pause. Like this one is quite interesting because the blue of the mountain with the yellow of the sun, when they touch, they are going to produce green. And in the simulation of ink, you actually see it. And that's nice to see because in reality, I think it's gonna happen exactly like that. So that's quite cool to see. These 2 colors are almost the one I use for the collection I did the other day for Ukraine, with the Ukraine color. So yeah, I think it was in April. We raised a few $1,000 in crypto for Ukraine funds fundraising. And yeah, I did a bunch of A3 plots that were using only these 2 colors. And yeah, that's why I saw that, oh, it blends to green. I mean, I knew, but I think we can see them in my history. Yeah, here. I think there's only one that wasn't sold. I think it's, I don't remember which one is it. Either one of or the other. So I still have it. I will frame it for me. But in a way, it's the beginning of that exploration, even though the sky was actually drawn. So yeah, I had one with... Yeah, that one. So that one was like really showing the blend happening. So blue plus yellow, green, and at the end you get more green. That was nice. So I used to have this progress bar. I no longer do because I need to set it up again, but you can see it was a 7 hours plot. Maybe it should be, when I explain people plotting, I should use that because that's quite interesting. Yeah, all of this setup is so complex to maintain. think I need to buy a 3D printer to make my own camera holder, because I had a hard time to glue the camera. I think this one was collected. I don't remember who collected it. This one is somewhere in the world. This plot, unique plot, was collected by someone. And I mean, it's also a NFT, so because it was fundraised with through Tezos blockchain, and okay, Clementez. So I don't know how much it was sold. 80 Tezos, which at the time I think was more, because yeah, I think it was like a few $100. Anyway, that was cool to make. And A3, I mean A3 size is huge. But imagine going further, and that's my next plan. I'm buying a Axidro A1, which is 4 times bigger, because it's 2 times in one axis, 2 times in one axis. So yeah, it's like 4 times this. And if we do the same, I guess we multiply by 4 the time, so even more, because you have to get it slower plotted. So maybe it's a full day of plotting, and you have to change the ink, I guess, in between. I actually want to try at some point, like, that would be so awesome, trying a A1 plot with this technique. But I think I evolved even more recently by doing this. So yeah, I think I will try to make similar stuff, but in A1, and it's always 7 hours more or less. So that's gonna be maybe 8 hours if we make it slower, 10. So that's 40 hours. It's gonna make some new record of my personal record of time plotting something. So that's gonna be fun. Well, yeah, I still have to order it and everything. So yeah. How do you ship A1 plot? Oh yeah, I know, because I actually ordered from I just received it, and I just received the frame, so I'm gonna frame this afternoon, I think. I bought something from Marcus Schwittlik. What his name? Marcus Schwittlik. I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry. Yeah, Marcus Schwittlik. I ordered my second plot from him on A1 size. Imagine that. Anyway, okay, I think it's time for lunch. I will let the plot continue. I will I hope it's finished before I. But I think it's just gonna continue like that. Yeah, what else to say? Where is my pen? Yeah, so next, I think we have another plot to Jordan as well, to plot just after, and it's gonna be on blue paper. So yeah, I think it's taking 2 or 3 hours actually. Each. Or one between 1 and 2 hours. So yeah, I think it's gonna be chill. I'm gonna stay like that. If I do an experimentation, maybe this afternoon on coding, it might be a new generator. I'm currently experimenting some ideas around the idea around image composition, even though I know image composition is not so appreciated in generative art because it's a bit cheating in a way, because you just stack images on top of each other, right? But it's not actually that, it's totally different. What I plan, it's to actually use and combine images, like 10 or like a lot of images together in a way that you don't see it's an image anymore, and using it as a value map. So it's like totally diverging from the initial image. Actually, you cannot even know you might not even figure out it's an image behind. So yeah, and then it's a plot. It's gonna be a plot. And just using it as a value map to distribute points in space. So it's actually going to be a very abstract art. That's an idea I started the other day. And I don't have a lot of... Well, I can actually share some stuff. The thing is, at some point I was almost finished on it, but then I figured that I couldn't really use these images because I don't own them. So yeah, I had to roll back on some stuff, some image, and I will make my own images. Let me quickly share some stuff. So yeah, look at these results, these previews. So this is quite abstract, made with images, but like the results were very, very different from each other. And it's all around, I wanted to explore ideas around mechanics. So you can have wires, things like that. So yeah, it's on the left you can see the image, which is composed with many many photos. Okay, we only see part of the image, sorry for that, but here there's like, on the bottom here we can see there is like some kind of window, I don't remember what was that. So yeah, we don't see the wheel at all anymore, but sometimes in a more zoomed version we will see that. And it's just a bunch of strokes. At the end it's just very abstract, but you can recognize some shapes, which is what I like. Try to explore, making something photorealistic versus abstract. In a way, it's a bit like some AI experiments results looks a bit like that. But here I'm not using AI, I'm just using a bunch of images to just combine them in different ways. And I was too basic in the way I compose them, but I think I have to dig that. And this is not going to be the photos anymore. I actually took a lot of photos of train and tracks and station, like train station, because there's nice architectures and I think it's gonna be, the idea is between the direction I want in terms of art is something that is a bit around the time, so you will have clocks between time and mechanics, and also like we'll see. It's gonna be abstract anyway, but very generative, not just image stacked on top of each other. So I think it's not an image composition tick on FXH, but yeah, I will document it anyway. And probably something quite simple to actually do, to implement. But then it's more the like fine-tuning everything that's going to be complex. So yeah, you have my plan, you have all my ideas that I have these days. Alright, see you later. I will chill on that plot. Is this almost finished actually? Yes, it is. Okay, so I think in 10 minutes we will switch the plot. Right, I'm leaving it like that, and yeah, see you a bit later. Don't hesitate to ask questions in the stream as well, and we'll continue streaming this plot request from the community. See you.